G'day gamers, welcome to New by Design. Gonna be doing a video here today on Anthem, and we're gonna go ahead and work our way through the first mission that you'll get to do in Anthem. Alright gamers, so once you complete the first introductory section of the game, which is basically a bunch of cutscenes that it kind of gets into describing everything about... Actually, you know what guys, I don't want to tell you guys about that. I don't want to ruin that surprise for you guys when you guys go ahead and load up the game, so I'll let you guys figure out the backstory and get that in real time when you guys load up the game. Either way, when you finish all those cutscenes in that first starter section, you'll be automatically loaded into your first contract, which will be this one right here, and this is the first mission here. Essentially what we're going to be doing is restarting the early activation warning system, as well as kind of working on reactivating the beacons. Essentially when we get this first one here, we're going to go ahead and work our way down. Now that we've activated it, it'll tell you to go ahead and get some equipment. Couldn't find any, so we'll go ahead and work on reactivating the beacons here. Keep aware that as well as there's a lot of harvest nodes. I'm not going to get them all, just kind of where the objectives kind of lead me. So if something's really close and doesn't get out of my way, I'll go ahead and harvest those nodes. But if you guys want to go ahead and grab it, I'd suggest you do that just so that you have a lot of stuff so that you can craft stuff early on into the game. This is going to be our first beacon here, and we'll have to go ahead and hold the F button because I'm playing on PC to activate it. Once we do this, you can see this is going to be a harvest node. It's right here, so I'll go ahead and do that, pick it up, and we're going to have to go ahead and battle a bunch of spiders here. Make sure that you keep within this ring here, otherwise if you get out of it, it will take longer, as I've done right now, so you'll have to kind of work your way back in, just because it is time-based, and then you will be able to do it quicker once you do that. I do find hovering in this instance to kill all these spiders is a lot easier. However, there's no real large challenge that you'll get fighting these. Once the circle and the contents of everything are green, you'll want to go ahead and realize that that is actually activating the timer, and you will be able to kind of, I guess it's communicate with the server so that it can get reactivated. Again, when you jump in the air, it also kind of messes things up and doesn't actually count for the timer. So the best way to do it is to just kind of stay on the ground. That'll activate everything quickly. Again, these spiders, there's nothing too difficult about them. Go ahead and throw your grenades and shoot, do whatever you want, and you'll be able to pass it pretty quickly. You can see we've got through it here, and we'll work our way to our second one, which is kind of a cooler area here. We've got a bit of a waterfall. We've got kind of everything going on here. Keep in mind as well when you're playing Anthem that you can go ahead and use waterfalls to work your way into cooling the system here so that you don't have to land and basically cause yourself to sprint or overheat if you don't go through it. And our second one is right up over here, so we will go ahead and just land. This one here is super easy. Essentially all you have to do is keep on the ground. There's no aggressing enemies here, just these cute little things that they were talking about. I can't remember what their names are, but they were talking about apparently a ton of people shot them and slayed them. I'm not going to bother with that because obviously it's just a waste of ammo, so we'll go ahead and just stay on the ground. You can see it is green, so we are activating this beacon here, and there will be no issues. We'll finish this one super quickly, and once we do, we'll have to work our way over towards the left, kind of in between those pillars you can see over there. Again, kind of a cool little area. You can see we've got all the waterfalls and just beautiful graphics from Anthem here. This one here, we're going to essentially work our way through and towards the other pillars over here on the right. You can see I'm almost overheated already, which was pretty quick, surprising actually, and we'll go ahead and just use our sprint like I was talking about earlier to kind of get quickly to where we need to be while allowing our suit to actually cool off here. We're actually almost at the third node anyway, or the third reset objective, so we'll go ahead, land over here, and you will see that we have the wyverns that we get to fight off here. Rather than activating it and taking all the damage, we'll just go ahead and clear out the wyverns first, just because it is a little bit easier to do it that way. There's only two of them. Once you clear the second one, you can go ahead and activate it here, so we'll go ahead and activate it. And in this one, the same thing. You're gonna have to go ahead, stand on the ground. For whatever reason, you can't hover above it or anything like that. Eventually, you'll see that there will be two more wyverns that spawn. If you kill them fast enough, you can go ahead and do them one at a time, but if you take a really long time for them, you very likely will be facing off at two at the same time. It's telling you here to go ahead and use your homing missile, and it is a lot quicker to go ahead and kill them this way. I don't actually know how many will spawn here, but I think it's just going to be until you actually use your homing missile, which I happen to miss with here, so I get to face off against 4 wyverns, but you guys can go ahead and let me know in the comments below if you do the homing missile right away, if you have to continually fight up to 4 of them or maybe more. Either way, you can see we've almost got this one completely activated. We won't have to go ahead and fight off any more wyverns because we've managed to use our homing beacon to go ahead and disable them. And for this next one here, we will actually have to go ahead and take our javelin underwater, which it took me a little bit to kind of realize what was happening here just because I wasn't sure, but you can see we'll start working our way over here. Once we get here, it looked like kind of you had to go up this pathway here, but that was obviously not the case, as you will see in a moment here. It'll actually kind of prompt you when you get near it and tell you that you have to actually go under the water here. So we'll go ahead and work our way underwater, and the water controls work very similar to the actual controls in the air. It's just, it feels a lot more sensitive to movement and all that kind of stuff. Once you get to these glowing things here, you'll want to get ahead and launch up into the air there. I should also mention at this point, if you guys are struggling with the controls, go ahead and let me know in the comments below, or you guys can check out my channel. I do a very thorough, I guess it would be what we'll call a thorough guide to the Colossus, because that's kind of my favorite javelin to use, and it'll tell you actually as well for all the other classes as well, because there's not too much different between them. Anyway, here we're going to go ahead and collect the nodes, or the echoes I guess we're called, and we'll go ahead and collect those and deliver them. Once we deliver them, it'll basically open up this doorway, completing the objectives. None of these ones are hidden very well, so you just kind of have to keep on going around the area and you'll see them. Obviously, I'm going to show you them all here when we're, by the time we work our way through, and you'll see that that is going to be our 5th of 5 here. So if you guys struggle, just go ahead and kind of work your way through the video here and it'll show you everything and where to go. Right here, we're just kind of working our way through a tunnel, so just make sure you can use, like it says on the screen, you can dodge a little bit left or right, but really it's just not needed. You can actually go full speed through this thing without hitting any edges or having any kind of problem here. The one thing you might get is an overheat if you go too slow, but there is that waterfall in the middle that we just passed through that'll help to cool you down and prevent you from overheating. Once you get to this area, if you get too fast, you'll do exactly like I did right here and smash into the wall, and then we'll work our way over here. Here is where you will actually have to use your left and right, so your A and your D button, to avoid those streams of, I guess it's electrical energy, because if you don't, you will overheat very quickly. I ended up tagging one of them, and it actually made me overheat before I got to the end. That was just one of them, so if I had to hit multiple of them or ran into multiple of them, it probably would have been significantly worse. Also here, probably should have waited just a little bit longer because I went ahead and disabled my javelin by getting that electrical shock. Here again, this is going to be a collect the echoes situation here, where we have to go ahead and collect the echoes, and then there's a couple different things that we'll have to do in this area. Again, this one here, it's the first mission. There is nothing particularly difficult. You're just chasing down echoes, keeping in mind that you can only actually hold 3 echoes at one time. For this one here, we'll actually have to go ahead and collect 8 of them. These are waterfalls, or I guess they're water ups, because they're not actually falling down. The water's actually going into the air there. So you can actually go ahead and work your way through them to cool off your javelin here if you find yourself overheating or getting close to overheating. Again, this one here, we're just collecting all the nodes, depositing them, and once we deposit them, go ahead and get some more. Again, same thing as always, you can only hold up to 3 nodes at one time, so we'll try to go ahead and collect them as fast as we can. I find sometimes switching from the flight to the hover is a little bit easier because sometimes the controls take just a little bit to get used to. The last time I played Anthem was a couple weeks ago, and it was also on the Colossus, so not really the same controls. Colossus flies a lot slower than this guy here, and it was a bit more clunky, wider, and easier to collect stuff with, at least in my opinion, but I'm also biased because that is my favorite class. We've deposited 2, and we are just about to collect our 3rd here, so we'll deposit these. We'll have 5, and we'll have to go ahead and do 3 more. What I might go ahead and do is speed up the play for the rest of it here, just because this is taking me a little bit of time, and you guys probably want to get on. So now that we finished depositing all the nodes, we're going to have to go ahead and collect some broken pieces to go ahead and place them back into the posts, or whatever you want to call those. So as you saw, they blew up and kind of scattered around the area. It'll make you want to go ahead and use your melee attack, so go ahead and use the V button to do some melee. Then, if you get frozen, like you probably will, because it's just told you to do melee, when you melee those, you automatically freeze, so go ahead and hit the space bar to jump, or kind of work your way through and unfreeze there. I like to throw grenades at these guys here, just because it tends to take them all out very quickly, and once we get a couple of them killed, you'll actually be able to pick up the objectives as you can see them kind of spawn around. There is 3 of them, and essentially the faster you do this, the faster you'll be able to spawn the main boss, which will be a bit of a letdown, I will tell you right now, or at least give you guys the heads up of it. You can see again with these, you actually probably have enough health where you don't even really have to fight them. You can just throw grenades once they kind of build up, do a hover, and then drop on the other objective when it is available. So we'll go ahead, collect our second one here, and deposit it again. Like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about fighting these. I'll fight some here and there, but I'm definitely not going to fight them all, just because it really is unnecessary and just makes the mission just take a little bit longer. So we'll go ahead, deposit our second one, do a bit of a clear here so there's not too many. You'll see that there is a beast kind of trying to get out of the cataclysm here and cause us some havoc. Right here again, we'll just clear them out, clear all the mobs out here before we go ahead and collect that last or third and final piece there to put it back into the pillar, just to make it again easier so that we don't die and have to restart here. But again, these ones not too difficult. We've cleared them out. We'll go ahead and deposit our last one right into this post right here. Again, you can't fly or anything like that when you get there. This is the disappointing part. It was so unfortunate. I couldn't wait to fight a big huge monster, and I realized this is the first mission, so you probably would have died if we had faced off against them. But I was really looking forward to going ahead to fight this monster, and it just turns out that all you get to see is actually a really cool cutscene, but kind of more getting me amped up to play the future and be able to actually face off against these epic looking monsters. Although I suspect this one here maybe a little bit later in the game, just because he looks pretty beast, and it might be the first time you actually get to legitimately do a cataclysm here. Anyway, gamers, that is going to be all for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, I sure would appreciate it if you guys go ahead and hit that like button. You guys can go ahead and reach out to me on my Twitter account at NoobByDesign or on Facebook at /NoobByDesign. Alright, gamers, thanks for watching.